Be blessed by the divine. Thank you, Professor Sheila ma'am, for conducting Shanti meditation. And thank you so much for managing the English meditation for this week.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the opportunity, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Be blessed by the divine.
Be blessed by the divine. Dear Sky meditators, I once again welcome all of you to this spiritual session in English organized by the World Community Service Center IT team. Our Guru Yogiraj Vedatri Maharishi explained that knowledge comes from knowing and knowing comes from perception in terms of volume, force, time, and distance. These four parameters form the dimensions of all the things in the perceptible universe. When man is unaware of the presence of the life force and its physical transformation into pressure, sound, light, taste, and smell, he remains unconscious of the reasons for the resultant pain, pleasure, peace, or ecstasy. Under the force of needs, habits, and circumstances, man repeatedly commits the same errors. Unless we know what is pain, pleasure, peace, or bliss, we cannot lead a peaceful life. To know about in detail about the pain or pleasure, we have our beloved senior professor C. Satyamurthy sir with us today. Our senior professor worked in Department of Space for a period of 5 years under Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Then he worked in L&T Limited for 5 years and then as Managing Director of Fab Machines Private Limited, Bangalore for 30 years. Sir completed his Sky Master course in 1989 and rendering his divine service for the past 32 years. He is the Managing Trustee of Bangalore Malleshwaram Sky Trust. Sir is presently developing a residential training institute called VETRI, Vedatri Educational Training and Research Institute at Hosur Tali Road, and it is affiliated to the World Community Service Center. I now invite our senior professor, C. Satyamurthy sir, to deliver his speech on the topic Pain to Bliss. Be blessed by the divine.
Be blessed by the divine. Be blessed by the divine. Salutations to Guru Vedatri Maharishi. Respected President of World Community Service Center, the trustees, those who are instrumental in bringing this Zoom, and those who are sincerely and tirelessly operating it and spreading the message of Swamiji throughout the world, and those who are connected today, my pranams to you all. Once again, my pranams to your parents, those who have propelled you to learn Vedatriyam. And today I'm going to share my knowledge and experience and Swamiji's teachings to you all. Pain to bliss. By understanding the pain, sorrow, and miseries and ignorance, one can overcome all the 6 temperaments, and that can be converted into noble qualities. By that, one can live and lead a happy and peaceful and blissful life. Finally, that will help us to achieve the goal of life, the God realization. So, why this pain? And what is pain? And what is bliss? Pain, sorrow, and ignorance are illusory. They cannot live. If you have a headache, you take a tablet, it disappears in 2 hours' time. It cannot live. Even if you have a major a surgery or something like that, it disappears. It cannot live for a longer time. So it is all illusory. Then what is bliss? Bliss is joy, knowledge, and they are true. And they cannot die. Once you experience the bliss, the joy, the knowledge, they are all permanent. They are all everlasting. That's what Swami Sivananda, the Divine Life Society, established by Swami Sivananda, he says. Even our Swamiji also says. So, what is pain, sorrow, and ignorance? They are the product of mental habits born of wrong hereditary imprints, impurities, and environmental influences. Causes pain, sorrow, and ignorance. See, the consciousness cannot hurt consciousness without acceptance. Thought can never be painful unless feeling overpowered it. See, God made man, God made joy, but all the pain, sorrow, and miseries are man-made. See, a raga, an attraction causes pleasure. A dvesha, a repulsion, causes pain. The mind expands itself in a moment of pleasure. When you see some of your friend after long years, your mind expands throughout your togetherness. In the moment of pleasure, the mind expands. When you see somebody else, a near and dear one goes, disappears, it contracts. It's the moment of pain. Both are only the relative state of mind. Then what is bliss? Bliss is our true nature. God is bliss. We are all the time, many people, you see, they are in a state of bliss. So bliss is our nature. Bliss is our true home. God may be defined in countless ways, the most meaningful definition of all. However, in terms of life, most fundamental drives is Satchitananda. All things came from bliss or from God. Eventually, all things must go back to the blissful state. Sat Chit Ananda. Then what is Sat Chit Ananda? Satchidananda. It is a combination of three words. Sat, Chit, Ananda. Sat means the existence, the truth. Chit means the expression, the knowledge of it. Ananda is the bliss. You get out of it. So truth, knowledge, and bliss is what we mean by the word Satchidananda. So if bliss is our nature, God is bliss, then why all this pain? That means the three impurities we have accumulated over a period of time. If we see God is everywhere, we see every human being, we are nothing but the image of God, then why you are unable to see the godliness or the divine qualities in man? You can see in very few people, in 1 in million. What is the reason? The reason, Swamiji says, there are three impurities: ego, imprint of sins, and illusion. These are the three impurities are added to man. So you are unable, they are covering the divine qualities. So what one should do? Remove all these impurities. The first one is ego. I and mine, the aggressiveness and possessiveness. I must rule over the world. Everyone should listen to me. And everything should be mine. I want everything. Possessiveness. So this I and mine, what Swamiji says, is like an husband and wife. They produce 6 children. greed, anger, miserliness, immoral sex, inferiority or superiority complex, and vengeance. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Madamacharya. So these 6 temperaments or these 6 emotional mood to be converted into noble qualities. If one attempts to do it, that is what all the spiritual organizations, what Vedatrium, Sky teaches, how to change all these temperaments, emotional mood, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Acharya into noble qualities. Greed to satisfaction, anger to patience, miserliness to generosity, then immoral sex to chastity, inferiority and superiority complex to equanimity, vengeance to forgiveness. If one practices and converts all these emotional mood or the temperaments to these noble qualities, then he will enjoy this state of bliss. If you don't do it, what happens? These 6 temperaments becomes 5 prominent sins. These 5 prominent sins are dishonesty, like corruption, without physical and mental work. We get someone's money, someone's labor, someone's earnings, because we have the power. Aggressiveness and possessiveness. I want to have that money. Dishonesty. I want to buy a Benz car in the form of corruption. And then goes to theft. Somebody can go to thievery, theft, earnings, or stealing the property of others without physical and mental effort of self. A prominent sins. Then it leads to murder. If he is not able to get it, if he somehow he's trying to disclose his corruption and theft activities, that leads to murder for money, name, fame. They do it without understanding or without the converting the temperament, that leads to 5 prominent sins: murder, rape, without the acceptance of other sex for his enjoyment. It becomes rape, the pain, the highest sin. Then all these things, leads to gambling. The money you gain out of it, you cannot show it to the income tax authorities, and the money you just steal it, that cannot be shown. So all these things, that leads to gambling. You try, or someone is trying to multiply the money earned in an illegal way, ill-earned money, that gives you illness, gambling. So these are the 5 prominent sins. Then all these 5 prominent sins, over a period of generations, it gets accumulated in the form of sinful imprints. Then what is sin? Let us try to recollect. We do action by thought, word, and deed. If the thought, word, and deed results in pain to self or others at present or in the future to the body or mind, is a sinful act. Let me repeat. We do action by thought, word, and deed. If the action results in pain to self or others at present or in the future to the body or mind, is a sinful act. So this sinful act or the sinful deeds become sinful imprints. That sinful imprints reflects an individual. How do you identify the sinful imprints in an individual? Swamiji says a very beautiful formula. Disease in the body, disturbance in the mind, or the reflections of individual imprints. Disease in the body, disturbance in the mind, or the reflections of individual sin imprints. It may be a nutritional deficiency or an emotional imbalance carried over generations, or a structural deformity, a dark, black, white, and then a pale, short, dwarf, tall, all these things, these are all the emotional, the physical and mental imbalances, anger, worry, greed, all these things. So all the sinful deeds will reflect as sinful imprints in the body. Then what to do? That is all preventing us to go back to our nature, the blissful state. What one should do it, start doing sublimation. What is sublimation? Moralizing your character. It is a character building exercise. Change your character, change your attitude, change your physical appearances. Everything is possible by sublimation. That strengthens the mind of an individual. By strengthening your mind, one will overcome the animal imprints to the divine qualities. That is Sanchita karma plus prarabdha karma is one's personality, personal qualities. So this personality to be changed to divinity, divine qualities, Devaranta Manusha, a divine qualities, a godly person. It is possible. So sublimation is a path to God, is through humanity. Through humanity only it is possible. For a better understanding, a hungry man and a hungry dog. A man so hungry, he got a packet of food or a bread, a pound of bread. When he was about to eat, opened the packet and about to eat, two people appearing in his front with a pale face, with an hungry face, they are looking at him. What the man will do? He will share his food, take 1 or 2 pieces and hand it over to them, give it to them, and he will also start eating. Look at a hungry dog. He got a chunk of meat from the butcher. It will just plug it, run away from that scene. Even 2-3 dogs chases an hungry dog. It will never share the food. So the conclusion is, man has mind. He can think, whereas animals cannot. Man is compassionate. He can always help others. Animals cannot. Watch carefully your feelings through introspection, a beautiful and powerful tool in our system. You will find that they are a jumble of mixed emotions. Therefore, on the spiritual path, culturing of emotions constitutes a vital sadhana. So again, a dog cannot feed another hungry dog. A bird cannot rescue a wounded bird or a dying bird in cold and hunger. It can only look at it and run away. A man can offer or share shelter or food to man or even an animal. When he is taking his food, a dog comes and looks at him. He throws a piece of bread. He just throws something to the dog. So man can only offer or share shelter or food to a man or animal. This is called humanity. This quality will make a man to God. So let us try to sublimate our temperaments, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, macharya, to divine qualities. Then you are accepted and respected in the society as godly person. So let us try to understand even a little more by the story of Prince Siddhartha and his cousin Devadatta. The bird, bow and arrow. See, once his cousin Devadatta using his bow and arrow, shot a swan. It fall down in the palace. Prince Siddhartha took it and saw that bird was suffering or fighting for its life. He pulled the arrow, did all the first aid, give water and food to the swan. Then his cousin Devadatta appeared. Hey, it's mine. As per the rule of the kingdom, I only shot the bird, the swan, so it belongs to me. Then Prince Siddhartha says, Look, the swan is only wounded. It is not dead. I am trying to help to heal the broken wing. The swan has a right to live and belongs to nobody. Then it goes to the court. Then finally, the judgment was given. The swan deserves to be free and it is safe. And its life in its own. No one can claim the ownership over it. It has got every right to go back to its home and family. So they gave the judgment, Siddharsha, to take care of the bird. Then after a few days, with love and compassion, the swan just flopped its wing and soared up to the sky. Then there appears 2-3 swans of the same family and lead him to their home. So what do we learn out of this? With love and compassion, a more human qualities, it attracts others. Why? Love can even tame a lion, train an elephant, and many things. At the heart of humanity lies love. So man must learn to love, to show compassion to the other animals. Man has the human qualities. So it's something like, then what is sublimation? Is something like refurbish. A refurbished sofa for sale. What do you mean by refurbishing? It's an old sofa. The structure is fine, but only thing, the covers and the wrappers are with dirt and torn. So what that fellow will do, a refurbisher, he removes the top cover and put a new one, tighten all the bolts and nuts, or if it is nails are gone, nailed, and put a new Rexing cloth and whatnot, and gives a fine look, gives a good look to make it new, to renovate, to restore in good condition. The same way, we are going to refurbish ourselves. By what? By the changing the 6 emotional mood to the soul, 6 temperaments to noble qualities, greed to contentment. How to convert greed to contentment? Swamiji gives a very beautiful tool, moralization of desire. Once a man goes to Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and asks, Swamiji, what is the distance from me and God? Ramakrishna Paramahamsa simply says, take a piece of paper and write down all your desires. Swamiji, I have hundreds of desires. Don't worry, you start writing. That fellow starts writing. He could write only, instead of, he says about hundreds and hundreds. But while writing, no, this is not the desire. Slowly it drops one by one. Finally, it boils down to say about 10 to 20 desires. Then he takes that 20 desires and show it to him. He says, these desires, of these 20 desires, whatever you have written, it separates you and God. So moralization of desire, it narrows the gap between man and God. So how to do it? Desire does not give pain. The way in which you fulfill the desire causes pain. Take an example. If you are hungry and you are able to digest only 2 or 3 idlis, there it is pleasure. No pain. By greed, if you take 8 idlis, the katori of sambar and chutneys are good. If you take 8 idlis, that leads to pain, a stomach pain after a few hours. So the same idlis gave you pleasure when you observe limit and method in desirous, the need. But when you become greed, that becomes pain. So the way in which you fulfill the desire causes pain. But everyone wants to live and lead a happy life, a real happiness. They don't want the happiness which just goes away. So happiness is our goal of life. If you need to be happy, you need to be at peace. If you want to be peace, you have to have satisfaction. How to attain satisfaction? Not by fulfilling your desires. 3 idlis you can digest, but if you eat 8 idlis by fulfilling your greed, that becomes pain. So, how to attain satisfaction? By only analyze all your desires, analyze your thought, analyze your desirous thought. By doing that, you get satisfaction. By doing meditation, you get satisfaction. It secretes serotonin that gives you contentment and satisfaction. Then that gives you peace, that gives you happiness. So the real happiness, you will get it not by fulfilling your desire, by analyzing your desire, you will get it. Then how to analyze and attain satisfaction? How to analyze and attain satisfaction? During enjoyment, observe pratyahara, withdrawal of senses. During enjoyment, one should ask 4 questions. What are they? How happy I am now? How long does it last? How much did I struggle for it? And when does it change? See, all these, the desire, how long will it last? I tell you, a sweet, you take it, a Mysore Pak, you can take 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th one, you are able to vomit. So the happiness or the enjoyment pleasure becomes pain when it crosses the limit. So the sweet Ananda stays for only minutes. A cloth Ananda, you have taken a new sari or a set of dress. Until someone sees and gives them a comment, all your pleasure is gone. That becomes a pain, good or bad. So then that dress becomes an old one. So cloth Ananda stays for hours. Then you go for a new 65 inches TV Ananda or washing machine Ananda. That stays for only days. That's all. That becomes an old one. Then you won't like to buy a car. Okay. That stays for only, you bought a new car and sitting in a car and driving in a highway. When you look at a car, the new model car, after a month, you see, oh, I might have bought that car, waited for some more days and time. I would have got with few more additional features. See what happens. Sitting in a new car, you are not satisfied. So during enjoyment, you are not withdrawn. So thereby, the car Ananda stays for months. Finally, you will say, I would like to construct my house. That is my final goal of life. Okay, you just constructed a house spending 1 crore. Then after 1 year, with all seepages, this, that, children are going out of the place. They are not ready to stay in that after education or the hostel, everything. They go out and you have a 3-bedroom or 4-bedroom house with 1 sea. Why should I construct such a big house? I would have contented with a smaller one. Oh my God. House Ananda stays for years. So all these Anandas, desires, fleeting pleasures, they are all fleeting pleasures. They only stays for only the house, sweet Ananda, cloth Ananda, TV Ananda, car Ananda, and house Ananda stays for only minutes, hours, days, months, and years. Then what do you want? Analyze how happy I am now by buying that car, how long it lasted. How much did I struggle to buy this car or construct the house? When does it change? Observe, pratyahara, withdrawal during enjoyment. How to attain satisfaction or how to get real happiness. Take a right about turn. All these things from this world, it gives you a fleeting pleasures. If you want an everlasting happiness, the real happiness, take a right about turn, take an inner travel. Inner travel is meditation. When you start doing your meditation from your higher frequency beta wave to alpha, 4 to 7, 8 to 13, and 4 to 7 at theta, and 1 to 3 at delta wave, Turiyatit meditation. Meditation induces happiness. You will always get in contact with the divinity. Your mind merges with the totality, almighty, fractional consciousness to the total consciousness. Then that induces natural happiness. That happiness is everlasting. So if you want to get real happiness, the everlasting happiness, take a right about turn, take an inner travel. That gives you everlasting happiness. An action plan. What Swamiji very beautifully gives in this, a desire. Finally, you are brought down to marriage. This year, I'm going to get married or housing. I'm going to construct my house. Now, Swamiji says, prioritize. Which one you want to do it? House? Okay, evaluate. I'm going to construct my house in 50 lakhs. Draw a plan. Act accordingly. You construct your house. Observe limit and method. Don't become, lend your ears to someone else. My uncle constructed in 1 crore. Don't look at it. This is not my ability. This is what the amount I can repay. You can construct a house happily and peacefully. Do an action plan. Prioritize, evaluate, draw a plan, act accordingly. Then there is no problem. Desire will never give you pain. The greed gives you pain and miseries. So the practical method, Swamiji gives you every week. The desirous thought, you moralize the desirous thought, you moralize it, then that becomes, craving gets reduces, you get a feeling of contentment. See, from greed to contentment is possible. Then no excitement over fulfilling the desire, because less desire, we conserve energy that can be used to sit and meditate, and one can enjoy health, peace, and happiness, feeling of contentment by doing moralizing or desire, meditation. Then the second emotional mood to the soul, the temperament, anger to tolerance. Anger is a momentary madness which converts man into an animal. Anger is the shortest route to hell. Anger is 1 letter short of danger. There's a lot of, these are the sayings. And anger in spiritual practice is suicide. If one gets anger very frequently, is killing himself. So the causes of anger: need, likes, dislikes, expectation, and wrong calculation causes anger on material. Suppose you are hungry, you need to have something to balance your need of hunger. You need something to eat. But the food offered, you don't like. The breakfast offered to you, you don't like, you dislike. The one which you like is not served, you dislike. Your expectation was something. So you had a wrong calculation that causes anger. And fame. You did something in your company and you're expecting a promotion, but your boss's calculation is only, for this I can only give you an appreciation letter. You get angry. Your expectation is something different. And you have a wrong calculation of a promotion that gives the name and fame, that causes anger. Without your likes and dislikes, goes beyond anyone, it differs from your expectations, you get angry. Power, sensual pleasure. How to overcome all these things? At this time, the need is to, I must reduce. The need is hunger. What the food is given by God today. Let me happy with this. A contentment will never cause anger and dislike. And the fame. Maybe you did something best in your company. From where you get that idea? From where you get that knowledge? It's from the society. I'm only giving back to the dues to the society. So I'm only just doing it. With that, if you think that I'm doing my duty, I'm repaying my dues, you never expect something, a fame or a name, power. Show your power with love. Don't show your power, I and mine. Show your power with love. You see, everyone is doing their best. So their sensual pleasure. So these are all things causes pain, causes anger. The effects of anger on body. Look at something. Adrenal, the pituitary gland sends a signal to adrenal gland. It produces adrenaline. Adrenaline gives a command to the liver. Liver stores glycogen. The glycogen is concentrated sugar. It goes in the form of blood, mixes in the blood. It goes to your skeletal muscles, run away to fight or flight from the, to protect your life from danger. Saw a snake, you have to run away. So the heart has to pump more blood to the skeletal muscles to run away. So by that way, it's a God-given gift to protect you from the life-threatening situation. So, but we misuse and abuse this God-given gift of anger. Look at somebody, if you dislike him, you get angry. Look at something which is not happening to your expectations, you get angry. So you misuse and abuse the tool what given, the system given by the divinity. That leads to hypertension, whatnot, all diseases comes. So the effect of anger on mind. Then memory loss, the high voltage goes to your brain cells. Brain cell dies, memory loss, low IQ, no concentration, confusions in the mind. So the effects of anger on mind, you become a low IQ. The brain cell dies, all the data stored gets corrupted. So the effects of mind is slowly you become a Buddhu or a low IQ person. Then the effect of anger on mind, when you get angry, the frequency goes up to 30 frequencies in an angry mood. The life energy has to produce, rotates and produces biomagnetism. The biomagnetism you consume to fight or flight, that gets converted. So consumption and conversion goes on. That leads to loss of life energy. That is the reason the effects of anger in spiritual practice is suicide. The life energy also goes out when you get angry. That is why you just lose everything. So then, effects of anger on society. The individual anger disturbs the entire society by and large. How? No, you're in the morning, you are supposed to get a cup of coffee. And a coffee is not available, you get angry. From 20 frequencies, it goes to 25. If she says that I made uppitu today, you get further, it goes up to 28. By the time your son comes out to the progress report, even though he got 95%, with your angry mood, you give him a blow in the back. That leads to him to do forge your signature. So all these things happens because an individual getting angry, your child is affected. You again go back to the office. You just fire your subordinates left and right. And your wife would have asked you to come in the evening at 6:30 to go to attend a family function. Will someone go? No, you will go to a club and have a drink and come back home at 9 p.m. Then the wife got angry. Then she will say, I will not come to your brother's housewarming ceremony. She has to extend that anger for the next full week. So anger, in generally, the anger, individual getting angry, it disturbs the society by and large. So the powerful tools to neutralize your anger: forgiveness, understanding, and ATS, anti-tetanus serum. Forgiveness is a powerful tool. Imagine the other person to be an innocent and show love. The other person did the best at that moment. The situation looked different to them. So therefore, we need to develop forgive and forget. You look at a porcelain cup to be, you received it from your friend on a birthday gift. You look at it in a different way, but a servant maid looks at, no, this is available in the platform for 10 rupees. See, she values at 10 rupees. You have no value for that. So the situation may have looked different to them. So forgive and forget. Forgive and forget. Make forgiveness as a habit. When you forgive, you enter in a new life. So this is a powerful tool. So forgiveness. Then the second powerful tool is understanding. Be a good listener. A man of understanding is a good listener. I will not criticize or find fault. If you find fault, the fault lies in you. A man of understanding will never argue. A man of understanding will never backbite. So by following and understanding, you can overcome the emotional mode of anger to patience. Look out to serve others. So then take ATS, adjustment, tolerance, and sacrifice, an anti-tetanus serum in order to avoid infection. So the same way, in order to avoid infection in your day-to-day life, have adjustment, tolerance, and sacrifice. To avoid anger, you can dramatize, never get vengeance, never have vengeance. Bless others, give an auto suggestion. Constant awareness. Due to Agna meditation, you get constant awareness. Have sattvic food. So when I ask you a question, are these people are covered? No. He got freedom to India, freedom from slavery, and he just constructed all the 5-star hotels around our country. He never used his anger into a destructive way against Britishers. He has constructed Taj residencies in a constructive way, and we are all enjoying today. So the anger to tolerance. Yes, Swamiji has given a tabular column. Use it every now and then. At least for a person getting angry very often, he must do every day or twice a week or once a week. Thereby, you can convert your anger to tolerance. Then miserliness to philanthropy. Whatever scripture says, it lays down varying proportions of one's income ranging from 10% to 40% to give away in charity, danam, dan. One should cultivate a habit of doing charitable deeds. Otherwise, in his or her next birth, he will become or born again in a poor family. Cultivate the habit of charitable deeds. While coming, they come out with empty-handedness. So while going, you cannot take even a pin. So what do? When you are living, do charitable deeds. That gives you, when you do charitable deeds, that gives you or your successive generations a comfortable and a blissful life. If you don't do it, millions of people's collective thought, and today you can see, according to the new company law, a corporate needs to spend 2% of their last 3 years average profit on CSR, corporate social responsibility activities. Then government has to do it. So then you can see the Bill Gates and Melinda Gates started in 2010, the Giving Pledge, an organization worth of, he had just given $88.5 billion worth. He gave it Warren Buffett. He gave $74.2 billion. The Giving Pledge, a commitment by wealthy individuals and family to give away their more than 50% of their wealth to the causes including poverty, alleviation, the refugee aid, disaster relief management, global health. So in 2010, he made this the Giving Pledge by Bill Gates and Warren Buffett. And today there are 204 signatories, out of which 4 or 5 Indians also, names are also appear. But whatever Swamiji says, he says at least 1% of your earnings, please give it to charity. Do the philanthropical activity, a non-profitable organization, charitable organization, those who are in need. Take your children, give them an opportunity to do the philanthropical activities. See, that gives them happiness. Then goes to immoral, sexual passion to chastity. How to do it? Celibacy. To begin with, the celibacy, the brahmacharya, is an important virtue and essential aspect of spiritual life for both men and women. Celibacy is not only for women, it's for both men and women. So, since control of desires was considered to be essential for self-realization, and sexual desire being the ultimate of all desires, so observation of celibacy becomes an important feature in spiritualism. So that is why Swamiji has given us the Kaya Kalpa Yoga. How to conserve the life energy. When you conserve the life energy, that becomes Ojas. Ojas, when you do Kaya Kalpa Yoga, that converts into Tejas. Ojas in all goes through all our cells, 120 trillion cells. That becomes Tejas. Your health, physical health, mental health, social health, everything gets the higher level and higher scale. So do your Kaya Kalpa Yoga. See, one man may speak beautiful languages and blissful, beautiful thoughts, but they do not impress people. Another man speaks neither beautiful language nor beautiful thoughts, yet his words charm. Why? Every moment of his is powerful. Whatever thought, word, and deed are one. He practices meditation, introspection, and Kaya Kalpa Yoga, but sincerely, honestly. So every moment of his is powerful. That power is the Ojas. So practice Turiyatit meditation. Be one with the divinity. Do introspect. Then moralize your desirous thought, sexual desire, by practicing Kaya Kalpa Yoga. So if you observe brahmacharya, the sexual passion, that's to chastity. Then vanity to parity, that inferiority and superiority complex to equanimity. See, in Hinduism or in all other things, especially in Hinduism, the term equanimity, the term for equanimity is samatvam. Samatvam is yoga yuchate, equilibrium in yoga, renouncing attachment and a balanced evenly in success and failure. Equilibrium is yoga. In Gita, in chapter 11 and verse 48, merit and demerit, punya and papa, do not affect that karma yogi. That is why Swamiji has given karma yoga principles, 10 karma yoga principles, a karma yoga subject. Who has evenness or equanimity of mind? A karma yogi will not accept an applause. A karma yogi will not accept a thanks. A karma yogi will not expect a smile. So he goes beyond evenness or equanimity. So practice karma yoga very sincerely. The 10 points of a karma yogi will help you to maintain equanimity. He has equanimity in mind in success and failure. His mind is always resting in God. All the time. Do Turiyatit meditation. Go to 1 to 3 frequency. Allow your ray of thought. One ray of thought should just be always with the divinity. How, sir, it is possible? Yes, when you do Turiyatit meditation, your mind goes to a delta wave, 1 to 3 frequency. That is the divine qualities, love and compassion. So how it is? The next 12 hours, you are able to maintain that state of mind. That's what the medical science says. If you start your day with meditation, end your day with meditation. When you start your day with meditation, When you go to delta wave 1 to 3 frequency in a calm state of mind, that calm state of mind remains for next 12 hours. Sir, is it possible? You take a tawa when you make a chapati or a dosa, that iron plate retains the heat for hours together. The same way, this we will maintain that frequency for next 12 hours. So the next 12 hours, you are in that equilibrium status. You are not going to get disturbed at all. So the higher frequency will never reflect. You are always with the divinity. So God all the while. Practice Turiyatit meditation sincerely in the morning and night before going to bed. So next 12 hours, you are in a calm state of mind. You are one with the divinity. So you experience the equanimity. So ability to remain cheerful in adverse conditions and realization of the ultimate state of peace existing within and around everyone. So your inferiority and superiority complex will be to equanimity by practicing Turiyatit meditation and practicing the Karma Yoga techniques. Then finally, vengeance to forgiveness. Forgiveness relieves stress and increases energy and vitality. It releases our anger too. The big part of forgiveness is a let go attitude. Let go our selfishness and personal expectations of others. He's clear that carrying around the grudge and harboring hatred is emotional baggage that we need to drop. The grudge, emotional hatred, such emotional baggages we need to drop. Practice forgiveness. With whom you are having grudge, end of the meditation, bring their image, ask for apology, tell thanks. Just before going to bed, the day, if you had, I had a friction or something, you are carrying a grudge or carrying an emotional hatred, what you must do? Bring that person, bring that incident or accident to your image. Then ask them apology, tell them thanks, forgive and forget. Many say I will forget and they will not forgive. So forgive and forget goes together. Most of us use our unresolved wound to excuse our own unkindness, he says. So that is where the forgiveness comes in. Forgiveness is something we do for other people. We do it for ourselves to get well and move on. By practicing forgiveness, the vengeance disappears. Forgive and forget. You enter in a new phase of life. Next day, you see a person, I already asked for apology. I already told thanks. So you are in a calm state of mind. The emotional imbalance at a higher frequency, when you do Turiyatit meditation, it will never appear. It will never attract. So meditation magnetizes. Magnetism attracts only that lower frequency, 2 to 3 frequency. So you will attract only the divine qualities, the divine personalities. So finally, bliss. Now by converting all these emotional qualities, the temperaments, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, macharya, to bliss. So different individuals lives together. Let us try to understand different individuals, even in your own spiritual practices, in your centers. Different individuals with different background, different impurities, live together like flowers in a bouquet. They may appear to be different, but they are all going to the altar. They're all together. They're all going to have the common purpose. So serving each other collectively and serving humanity. God has put me here. Wherever you are, please understand this. When you understand this, God alone can do it. So wherever you are, however you are, whatever you are doing, God has put me here and is making me to talk in this situation. And God has put you there sitting in front of your mobile or a television or your laptop, I'm making you to listen. Just because the show must go on, it allows every individual to purify. Life is a journey of consciousness. So if we can understand this, life will become super heaven for us. We will always be in bliss. We will always be in bliss. So the result, if everyone develops this spiritual understanding, practicing Vedatriyam, everyone develops spiritual understanding, adjustment, tolerance, and sacrifice. The spiritual understanding, it will open up the 5 dimensions: perspicacity, adaptability, adjustability, magnanimity, and creativity. Everyone develops the spiritual understanding, then everyone will understand others' problem. If everyone understands others' problem, then none will expect anything from others. None will expect anything from others. If no one expects anything from others, you know what will happen? What everyone can do for others, what can I do for others? If you want to do to something to others, you know, where I am, what I am in finance, in education, and in health. Where I am, what I am, what is my financial strength, what is my educational level, what is my health, what is my social support, what is my social strength. With all this property, with all this strength, what best I can do to the society, what best I can do to the society. Then with the duty consciousness, value of respecting others, and the virtuous way of life certainly bring the world peace. The summary: to achieve the purpose of life, intensify your meditation, reprogram, rewrite, introspect your thought, word, and deed in such a way not to harm others. Help others, love others. By this way, one can spread the light of virtue. Result: all the need for one's living will be provided generation after generation. Pain to bliss. Let me repeat the summary. To achieve the purpose of life, intensify your meditation, reprogram, rewrite, introspect your thought, word, and deed in such a way to not to harm others. By this way, one can spread the light of virtue. Result: all needs of one's living will be provided generation after generation. One can live and lead a blissful and happy life. God realization is possible. Certainly, be blessed by the divine. By the grace of divine, I am thankful for your patient hearing and sharing my knowledge and experiences to you all. I am thankful to Swamiji, thankful to Guru and the organization. Be blessed by the divine. By the grace of divine, you will all enjoy good health, long life, enough wealth, prosperity, wisdom, and peace. Be blessed by the divine.
Be blessed by the divine. Thanks a lot, sir, for the excellent speech today. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said, those who see me in each and everything, I will never leave. They will be always with me. If we realize this, we will not give pain to others. Our Guru Yogaraj Vedatri Maharishi says, when we follow the twofold principle, we can live happily. But when one person derives happiness at another person's cost, then he has to take many years to purify himself. When we follow the moral principles, they become habits and finally established culture. Our professor has explained very beautifully and in a clear manner how we can change our painful life into a blissful one. Sir has given many practical examples and also how to maneuver the 6 temperaments so that we can shift our lifestyle from the painful one to a blissful one. Thank you so much for the excellent speech, sir. Now the forum is open for discussions. Please click the raise hand button in your Zoom app to ask the questions. While you get ready with the questions, we have some important announcements to make. Practice Kaya Kalpa Yoga regularly and improve your immune system. If not yet learned Kaya Kalpa Yoga, please visit kayakalpayoga.edu.in or download the Android application. Please also recommend it to your friends and relatives to learn and practice Kaya Kalpa Yoga, especially during this COVID time. WCSC Vision for Wisdom is conducting online foundation course as well as certification course in Tamil, English, and in Kannada. Please visit kundaliniyoga.edu.in to know in detail. Please refer your friends and relatives to join this course and let everyone get benefited by practicing the yogic techniques given by our Guru. Our monthly journal Unboli is also available in the Android app. Please download the app from the Android Play Store and get access to the premium content of our Guru speeches. Connect with us on Facebook and YouTube on the channel Sky Yoga TV to listen to all the past speeches of our professors on various aspects of Sky Yoga. Karma Yoga principles of Vedatrium suggest donating 1% of our income to the good causes of society. Be generous and donate to the World Community Service Center. There are multiple channels to do that, either through the Unboli app or through the official website vedatri.edu.in. Just to mention, you would get section 80G IT exemption for these donations. Now let us move on to the discussion session. T.S. Rajaraman sir, please unmute yourself.
Audible, sir?
Yes.
Yeah, it is audible,
Raja.
sir.
Yes. Good evening, sir. Satyamurthy, sir.
Good evening, sir.
I am from Chennai. My name is Rajaraman.
Palavandangal.
Yes, sir. Yes. Very good. You remember me.
Yeah.
Your speech is enormous information, educative, following principles, philosophy of Vedatri Maharishi. I am very much delighted to enjoy your speech. Pain to bliss.
Yeah.
I got number of questions. Be
Yes, sir.
patient.
Yeah.
First, I want to know
Yeah.
what is human and humane. First, then
What is? Come on, repeat once again. Is not able to hear you clearly.
human, H-U-M-A-N, human, humane,
Yeah.
H-U-M-A-N-E. What are same or different?
Okay.
Then other question, bliss is equivalent to happy or blessing. What do you mean by bliss? The third one is
Yeah.
by observing forgiveness,
Yeah.
system increases energy and vitality. At the same time,
Yeah.
when you practice Kaya Kalpa Yoga
Yeah.
and observing celibacy, we can also improve our vitality life force.
Yeah.
In what way forgiveness and Kaya Kalpa
Yeah.
induces that vitality force? Please explain, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. I will start from your last question.
Yes.
If you don't forgive, you lose your biomagnetism. All the time thinking of the person, and you will lingering, or your mind will be brooding over the same subject. So thereby you are putting a hole in your life force. So it just goes away. So anger and worry are the two villains in our life. It sucks away our life energy. So by having that grudge, holding on a grudge or holding on a vengeance, that sucks away your life energy. By forgiving them, by forgiving and forgetting, you are plugging the hole, so the life energy is conserved. So that is
Excellent, excellent.
the last question. And just before that, the second question was
Bliss. I want to know bliss. What is bliss? Bliss, happiness or blessing?
Yeah. See, bliss is a state of ecstasy. It is oneness with the divinity that cannot be expressed by words. One can only experience it. I tell you, see, a blessing is you are verbally, you are saying something, you are blessing somebody. It's you can, it's external. But a bliss, when you go in a calm state of mind, you are forgiving, forgetting your body, mind, and everything. You are one with the divinity. So you are one with the divinity. You are now away from all your worldly things, all these things. So with that, bliss is one cannot express, one can only experience it. So bliss is a state of ananda. See, when you experience the bliss, I tell you small examples. Your blood, bone, everything will enjoy a chillness, a calmness. The end of the meditation, Turyadit meditation for 1 hour, when you experience, you will maintain the posture, and you will, bone and blood will be cool, and you will experience the state of bliss. That is what I can explain. More than that, I cannot do it. Okay. What is your first question?
We used to say humanity. There's another word, humane. What is that?
See, human is nothing but HUMANE is nothing but Manidabhimanam. It is gracious or human.
Oh, okay.
That's all. Human and humani, it's only you add an E, it becomes Manidabhimanam. It is the gracious, affectionate. That's all. So if you want to say something, a compassionate, kind, all these things are considered to be human.
Thank you, sir. Very good information and satisfying reply. Be blessed by divine.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Be blessed by the divine. I think there are no more questions from our participants.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
In the chat box, Ramesh, would like to see the chat box?
Yeah, let me check, sir.
Chat box. I want to know exactly the blissful state, and how can we identify if we reach a state in its place, contentment, detachment, combination of all these things, human to humani. Yeah, that I've explained it. Radha Ravichandran has asked. I explained, I think, to Mr. his thing.
Raja Raman, sir. Yes, sir.
Raja Raman, I explained. To Radha Ravichandran, it is the same.
Fine, okay. Sir. And some of you have asked how can we have the recording of the speech. And dear meditators, please visit the channel Sky Yoga TV in the YouTube. There you can find all the speeches of our professors, the recorded speeches. So today's recording will be uploaded tomorrow. So you can all hear it and forward it to your friends and relatives. Thank you, sir, for patiently answering our questions and sharing your insights and debate thoughts today. Dear Sky Meditators, it's now time for us to express our gratitude to our professor. Please come to Duriya State. Senior Professor C. Satyamurthy, sir, be blessed by the divine. His good health, be blessed by the divine. His loving family, be blessed by the divine. His divine service, be blessed by the divine. Now let us bless our Professor A.P. Sheila ma'am for conducting Shanti meditation today. Professor A.P. Sheila ma'am, be blessed by the divine. Her good health, be blessed by the divine. Her loving family, be blessed by the divine. Her divine service, be blessed by the divine. We would like to extend our blessings to the Sky Meditators for their kind donations made yesterday as per the Karma Yoga principle. Your generous donations will help us a lot to save the society. By the grace of divine, may you and your family enjoy good health, long life, prosperity, wisdom, and peace. We are happy to bring the following online programs live from all your Temple of Consciousness tomorrow. Morning 5:25 a.m. 9 Central Meditation in Tamil. 6 a.m. exercises in Tamil. 7 a.m. 9 Central Meditation in English. 11 a.m. there's a speech in Tamil on the topic Paal Unarvam Aanmeega Membadum by Professor Bhaskar from Kudalur. Evening 6 p.m. Nityananda Meditation in Tamil. 6:30 p.m. there's a re-telecast of morning's Tamil speech. 7:30 p.m. 9 Central Meditation in Hindi by Professor Jaiprakash Goyal sir from Singapore. 8 p.m. there's a speech in Hindi on the topic Eradication of Worries by Professor Murugan from Mumbai. Please share the program invite with your friends and relatives. Let everyone take part in the spiritual journey and get benefited. We thank our beloved President Arulindhi Padmasri SKM Mailanandan sir for his support and guidance. See you all tomorrow with another interesting session in Hindi. Till then, be safe, practice our Kundalini Yoga. This is Ramesh from the All Your World Community Service Center IT team. Let us conclude the program with the invocation for the world peace. May the world be blessed with plenty of rain. The farmers work to produce an abundance of grain. Let the practitioners of all trades prosper, flourish and grow, and culture progress through the need to share and grow. Let the rules be beyond feelings of anger or fear, illiteracy, poverty, and all evils made to disappear. Let the true lamp of knowledge burn steady and bright. Our sense of duty guide us along paths always right. Be blessed by the divine. Be blessed by the divine. Be blessed by the divine. See you all tomorrow. Good night.
Good night, Ramesh.